Hi, Myriam Nordemann is joining us from Milan, Italy, where she works as a counselor and parental coach and is a practitioner and instructor in logosynthesis. She works with parents and children, and she's going to explain a little bit about the case studies that she provided for the book and how she uses logosynthesis in her everyday work. Thank you for joining us, Myriam.
Thank you, Cathy. Thank you very much for your work and for this little talk.
Yeah, I look forward to it. So, as a counselor and a coach, there are a lot of methods out there that are available for you to work with. Can you explain a little bit about your initial experience as to what attracted you to this method?
Yes. Um, uh, I'm part of a network in France, which name is Creative Parenting. Creative Parenting, and it's a network of parental coach, and they're working to help parents to be in a positive education, non-violent education. It's a very joyful point of view, and so it's very important also to see the needs of the children. And it was great to be a parental coach with this method, but I needed something more. I needed something else to complete my work with parents, because a lot of time the parents want to be joyful, they want to be respectful, they want to hear their children, they want to be good parents, but they are activated in they feel strange emotion when they are with their children. So maybe their child is crying, or he wants something, or he says some things, and the parents would like to be very kind and understanding, but he can't because he starts to be very angry and he doesn't know why. And so I found logosynthesis really, really great to help parents to understand what's happening inside, what's happening when their child is saying something, or wants something, or is crying, and they can't be present as they would like to be. And so logosynthesis helped me to help parents to free themselves from their past, their belief, and all their past, and be present in the here and now with their children, and to be more understanding and more present and more in the here and now.
I can relate to that as a busy working mom, and just how it's helped me to feel much more calmer and
Yeah.
more
More serene,
more
no?
enjoyable. Yeah, more at ease with my kids. I'm not always triggered by the busyness and trying to control the situation. I can relax into it and still focus on parenting, but not with that anxiousness.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And you have also the feeling that you're not doing well, and you have the feeling you're not doing enough, and
I think every busy mom has
and
that.
there are a lot of things, and there are a lot of things to do for family, for husband, for children, and for yourself.
Yes.
And
And if we don't have enough to do, we make it up.
to be more focused and more present,
Good.
and relax for those things that are not so important.
So quite often I get asked from people is, can you use this with children? How do you answer
Yes,
that question, and what issues do you work with?
yes, 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 and yes. Logosynthesis with children is fantastic. I don't know why, but for them, I think this strange sentence, because for adults sometimes the sentence of logosynthesis are a little bit strange, so they are like, oh, I don't know what does she want to make me say, or adults are a little bit sometimes anxious with these sentences at the first time, no?
Yes.
And children, no. Children, they immediately feel that these sentences are making them feeling better. And it works very well with the children. Usually I say, oh, I have a magical sentence for you.
Mhm.
And they really like this magical aspect. And they feel that that's something special that works, and they are open, and it really works very well with the children. And I think also they don't have the long life we have, so the long frozen energy we had all over our life. They're only 10, 15, or 20 years old, maybe 5 years old. So they really, it's very easy and quick. They don't have so much things to work on.
I always tell people, don't wait until you're 50 until you start doing this, because I have a lot of triggers by now.
Yes, or me too. We have a lot.
So in the book,
we have long life to work on.
Yeah. In the book, you provided a case study about doing homework as a family, and Alex was struggling with his homework. And I found it interesting that you worked with both Alex and his dad, Chris. And can you maybe explain a little the benefit of having the parent or the father or mother involved and doing their own work first, and what benefit that has for the child, like Alex?
Yeah, usually I have sessions with kids, but I really like when it's possible to also work with the father or the mother, because I told you that with the kids it's very easy. It's a fast work. It's very natural. It works, but sometimes you need also the parents, but because the children live with their parents, and if the parents have beliefs or see in their child something, and think my child is not good in English, for example.
Yes.
Then your child will also, if he works with logosynthesis, he always will have this idea, this presence of the father who thinks that you're not good in English, and so it will continue. It will be more difficult to work. And also, I often see that the problems of the children are very similar to the problem of the father and the mother, because they live with the father or the mother, and they feel what they think, and they imitate the behaviors, and they are very connected to their parents. So it's very useful to work with both. With Chris and Alex, it was very interesting, because Chris came with a problem of homework. It was very difficult for him. He used to say, I hate homework. I hate homework. I don't want to do my homework. I don't understand why I have to do this homework. And so I did a session with him, and he worked on how he was feeling and what happened when he had to, when he should do his homework. And then at the end of the session, I had to work on his belief that homework are useless. And I felt, when I gave him this sentence, I felt that this belief was not only his belief, but it was the belief of someone in the family. I had this sensation, no?
Yeah.
So I asked the mother, do you think that you or your husband could be involved in this topic? And she told me, yes, the father. I am sure that it's something about with it has to do with his father. So his father Alex was really kind because he was very open to work also on this topic. And when he came, he told me, I have the same, no, my son, Chris, is like me, is all me. He doesn't like authorities and he doesn't like when he has to do something. And so he went with this idea. My son is like me. He doesn't like to have to be constricted to do something. And so we had a session with Alex about his relationship with authority and also with his story with homework.
Right. Yeah.
And at the end of the session with Alex, he told me, oh, for the first time, I see that Chris is not me. For the first time, I have this impression that we're not together. We are two different people. And so he can have his life and I have mine and I have my history. And it was very interesting because after the mother wrote me and she told me that he totally changed, Chris totally changed after the session of the father.
Yeah.
He changed after his session because he was more collaborative with the homework. But after the session of the father, I think that Chris felt that something had changed in his father. And the mother told me, oh, now when you ask him, go and take me a bottle of milk in the fridge, now he goes and takes the bottle in the fridge. And he's not, no, I don't want to, not me, why me?
Right.
So all the atmosphere in the family changed.
I think a lot of us as parents can relate to that, right? Like
Yes,
it's
yes.
something there. Kids can evoke a lot of emotion because we see them experience things that we may have struggled with when we were younger, and we don't want them to experience those struggles. So yeah, that's interesting.
The main subject, the main topics for children are with school, with exam, test, homework, that the big topics for them. They need they need to be more confident. They need to believe in themselves, and it's the main work with with children. Then they
Yeah.
have a lot of fear. When my son was younger, when he was young, and he used to see a lot of monster in the room, he says, we apply the logosynthesis on the monster we had in the room, and we could then sleep very quiet. He was more calm.
Yeah, it's interesting because we did a survey a few years back and we were asking parents and we were asking youth, most of them in high school, and to get an idea of what was causing them distress, what they
Yes.
were anxious about. And I found it interesting that the youth were more panicky, whereas the parents were more overwhelmed. And so youth tended to panic over exams or panic over
Yes.
school. And, some of that, I don't know if eventually by the time we get to be parents, we kind of know we're going to get through it. We just feel overwhelmed by it. But there was a distinct difference in that area as far when you looked at the
Yes.
children versus.
Yes, 2 days ago I worked with a young girl, and she wanted to work because she panicked for exam, for test, or oral. When you speak, you say that in English,
An
not a
oral exam.
written
Yeah, an
exam,
oral exam.
oral exam. Yes, she was panicking before oral exam, and so we worked on that. And then she sent me a message, and she told me, "Oh, now teacher told me that it was a very good exam. And so she was so happy, and she immediately sent me a message because it's really helpful for school and university then after that when they grow up. But it's important for them to find this confidence.
And why be stressed if we don't have to be, right?
Yes,
That's my thing. If I knew this, then I
yes,
don't have to be
really.
stressed. Yeah.
Mm.
And I found it interesting as well, because when I was working in a corporate environment where I was working, they were doing a large layoff and we didn't know exactly if we would be laid off or when the layoffs were going to happen. So there was a lot of tension, and there were certain cycles of layoffs. So it wasn't all at once. And so people were very anxious about losing their job. And I
Yes.
remember somebody coming in and saying, my children are just so worried that I'm going to lose my job. And I thought, oh, maybe I should check with my children, because I never really thought to see if they're worried. And so when I asked them about it, they said, well, Mommy, you don't look worried or you don't seem concerned. So why would we be concerned? So quite often, our children tend to pick up the vibe that
Yes.
even if we're not talking about it, they can notice the vibe.
Yes.
And so the more, in my mind, the more I as a parent can do my work first, which Willem always tells me, if it bothers me, it's my work to do. But the more I can do my work, then the less work other people have to do, because I am calmer.
Yes, I think the same. That we have a vibration, and they feel this vibration there. And when you change, which you change, when you work on yourself, then you free your children.
Yeah. So the case study did a great job of describing what originally attracted me to logosynthesis as a busy working mom, because it described how when the parent changed his reaction to the child,
Yes.
everything felt calmer.
Yes.
And so I think a lot of times what I experience is that because our beliefs are so ingrained in us, we really feel that we need to change things and we need to fix things for our children. And we get very worked up, and that affects the action that we take. And so, with logosynthesis, is it a struggle for you when you're coaching parents to help them recognize the benefits of doing their own work as opposed to trying to change their child?
Usually, I show them. I don't try to convince them that photosynthesis is more efficient, but I show them what happens. And so, for example, I take, sometimes I start with a little example, no? So when did you feel nervous when you were with your child? Maybe I was nervous because my child told me something, and I became nervous, and then I wanted to beat him, and I want to shout at it, and I was really nervous, and I asked them, okay, so now what happens in you? What happens, and we try to understand and to go and see how to free the energy and how to change with logosynthesis. And usually they immediately understand, because after doing the sentences and after doing the work with logosynthesis, they immediately say, oh, I came back home, and when my child told me the same again, I was okay, I was calm. And because I was calm, it was easier for me to hear him, to understand why he wasn't okay, what was happened, and it was easiest to be more present in the relationship. Not say, oh, you did that, no, I'm very angry. And the dog said, no, but oh, you tell me that, what's happening? Because I'm here, I'm in the here and now, because I'm not activated by something else. I'm not in another in another story, in my own history. I am in the here and now, and I can change my behavior. And sometimes some parents tell me, "Oh, I need some. I want you to tell me what I have to do," and I say, "I can't do what you have to do." Yes, I can help you because I have some information on the children. I can give some I can give you some information and some ideas of what's happening in your child. But then it's by healing your history and healing your reactions that you can be there and know what to do. You will know what to do, and it's why logosynthesis is so great. It's because I don't know what you have to do. You will find it in yourself, freeing you.
Yes.
And it's why it's a method which is so gentle and respectful, and because you have your own power in yourself and your own power as a parent in yourself. And with logosynthesis, it's going out, and you can blossom, and you can be the parent confident and present that you can be. And I think it's the most important when you're a parent, to be present there and to be to know what is the right thing to do, not because my counselor told me that I have to do that, but because I feel it really in myself, in family.
It's so fascinating to me. I could talk to you about this all day, and I love your experiences and your stories. So thank you so much for sharing that. But
I have a lot of examples that comes to my mind, but I don't know what to tell you.
I'm just thinking, do you have, like, given what we're experiencing right now with a global pandemic and everything seems a little uncertain and a lot of upheaval, is there one piece of advice you would have to help parents, working parents, navigate this time
In this moment,
in this moment?
yes. I think the most important for parents is to get informed, because we have a lot of old ideas about parenting from our parents, grandparents, and traditional education. But things has changed. Now we know a lot of new things about brain work, how the brain works, the brain of the child. And so I think it's important to know that your child, how works your child, that if he seems to become crazy and shouting, "Ah," it's not because he's angry with you, or it's only because he's stressed and he needs to. Um, it's his emotions are so present, and it's important, I think, for parents to know that, because I see a lot of times that parents say to their children, "Oh, you don't do that, you can't," but your child cannot control. He's not an adult. He has a brain which is not mature, and so he has to do with what he can do. I think this is very important, and also because it relativates everything that happens in your life, especially when your child is young. And then working with logosynthesis is very important, I think. As you said before, no, to work on yourself and on all your reactions, and the more you will do it, the more you will do logosynthesis, the more you will feel liberate. You will feel free. You will feel light, present, and it will be the relationship with your children will be more easy.
Yes.
Will be easiest.
A lot of people say, oh, I can do this on my own. And I know that I can do a lot on my own through self-coaching. I've put a video on YouTube so that people can do it on their own time and they can practice the method. But I also know the value of connecting with other people for support. What's your thoughts on that?
Yes, I think logosynthesis is great because you can do it on your own, but it's not really, really true because it's very helpful to have someone to work with, because sometimes when you are going into some things that are not so easy, it's better to be with someone who can gives you uh, a good connection and a good relationships to help you to grow and to work also at the deepest level. And also, it's very important, as you told me before, to find a group support and feel that you're not alone, that every because sometimes when you go to school and you see the other mother, you think that you're the only bad mother of the world and that all mothers are great and perfect and you are the only one that is not perfect. But when you find a support group, then you discover that we have all the same difficulties. It's only when when we are going to school, we are all, oh, but it's not the real life. And in the group, so you feel that you're not alone and you can be supported by the other one, by the other. And also when you speak with the other parents, you understand also that maybe this parent find a solution where that you didn't think about. So it's very important to share and to understand, to share our experience and what's happening. And so I lead two kind of group, of supporting group for parents. One for creative parenting, which is more to find support and find creative solution and find information. And the other one, the other program that I made is with growing with logosynthesis as a family. And so in this group, we work on parenting topics with logosynthesis. So I have um, these two propositions for parents.
Well, it's a very lucky community to have you available to them. So yes, it sounds great. So thank you, Myriam. And I'd like to make sure everybody knows that you've contributed 2 case studies to this book, and you've also been a huge part of the international logosynthesis community that's shared ideas and shared what is possible with this method. So it's a very interesting and exciting time. And it's had a huge impact on me as I began to write Thriving in Our Times from Reactions to Action using logosynthesis. And I started writing the book at the beginning of the year, and then I had to throw everything away at the beginning of the pandemic because it just seemed like our times were a little different. But yeah, so it really is such a great opportunity to connect with you, and even virtually, it's so much shared learning, and I really appreciate your support and your expertise. So thank you, Myriam.
Thank you, Cathy. I really am very happy to contribute to your book. You did a very great work. I'm really impressive for how you are so clear and complete to explain how is logosynthesis and how you can use it. And so I am really happy to be part of your your book and your mission and your work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.